Sophie, the Prime Minister's $1.3 billion border security plan appears to have bought us some time for now. It is a plan that was actually announced at the end of last year, but is just now being accepted by President Trump. So I'm not sure exactly what has changed, but the important news there is that it's now accepted and we've got this 30-day reprieve. So let's bust down this plan to see what it entails. $1.3 billion by Trudeau, 10,000 frontline personnel, new helicopters and technology to stop the flow of fentanyl, and enhanced coordination with the United States. Now, what had caught my attention in particular was something that Chris mentioned there off the top, and that's the announcement of a new fentanyl czar. What exactly that person will be doing at this point, we don't know. Canada also committing to list cartels as terrorists, ensuring 24/7 eyes on the border, a Canada-U.S. joint strike force, also a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl worth $200 million. Now, when it comes to fentanyl, let's look at the facts. According to the U.S. government's own data, less than 1%, we're talking 0.2%, of fentanyl seized last year came in from Canada, and almost 97% had come in from Mexico. Now, regardless, security experts here say that we have a problem, and our allies, not just the U.S., have legitimate concerns, especially because we are a port province. Now, just a few months ago, if you can remember, tucked away in the tiny town of Falkland, BC, RCMP busted the largest super lab drug lab in Canadian history. There was enough fentanyl and related substances there to kill over 95 million people, according to the Mounties. Now, it's just one example of multiple recent drug busts across Canada and British Columbia, some of the seizures linked to Mexican drug cartels, according to police. Now, another issue we have is the CBSA. They check less than 1% of containers entering Canada. So when you think about it, how much fentanyl is actually getting missed? And what about the precursors, the ingredients used to cook up the illicit drugs?
When you looked at the sanctions list, when you see Chinese companies that are like the world's biggest producers of precursors, and then even in Vancouver, we're seeing Canadian companies that are on the U.S. sanctions for precursors associated to fentanyl and other synthetic drugs. I think it's really hard to deny it.
Now, the 10,000 personnel that Trudeau is promising, we don't have any details at this point as to how much that's going to cost exactly, what they're going to be doing. There was no mention of resurrecting port police. We know that that got dumped here at the ports by the federal government back in the late 1990s so they could save money. So the details, we've yet to get them. Back to you.
All right, still to be worked out, I'm sure, some of those details. Thank you, Rumina.